Hello, I am Paul Henault for Simsbury Community Media. Today we are on location at Nod Hill Farm in Avon. This is the home of the U.S. Horse Welfare and Rescue Organization. In short, the mission of this organization is to promote the safety and welfare of America's equines locally and nationally through rescue, advocacy, and education while healing humans through horse-to-human connections and supportive programs with their sanctuary horses. During this program, we will have further discussions of the mission of the organization, its founding, the volunteers who provide care for the horses, and how the organization is funded, as well as an upcoming fundraiser on September 7th. We're going to be interviewing Susan Mitchell, founder and president of the organization. Why don't you tell us about the founding of the organization and how that came about?
Sure. It goes back to 2013 after I'd had a big foot surgery and I was sitting around recovering from that, and I actually was looking to buy myself a fancy warm blood. And in the process of going on Facebook and all of these pages, I started learning more and more about horses going to slaughter. And there was one particular story that really struck me about a 17-year-old girl who, when she was 9, her parents had sold the horse that she had outgrown, and they had put it out on a contract, right of first refusal. But she got up that morning, her dog had passed away. She goes on Facebook to let her friends know her dog had passed away, and she sees a post from a rescuer with a picture of a horse that looked just like the horse she had sold when she was 9. And she reached out to them and she said, you know, I think this is my horse. And the woman was like, yeah, all bays look alike. And she's like, no, if she has a particular scar, she's fine. They identified that it was in fact her horse. So she's from Harwick, Massachusetts. So her parents and her got the horse trailer and they drove to Pennsylvania to go get this horse. And dang, I cry every time. She got to the farm and she had taught her horse a lot of tricks. And when she went into the stall with the horse and she said the horse's name, the horse remembered her, even though it had been 8 years since she had seen her. And she bowed to her. She started bowing because that was one of the tricks she had taught her. And when I read that, everything stopped, Paul. I mean, my need for some big expensive horse just changed. Everything changed. It was like, oh my God, if I didn't know this happens, how many other people don't know it happens? Right. And it was just like this moment when I just said, I have to let the world know. I have to make a difference. You know, I couldn't go to bed at night and sleep feeling like I wasn't doing something to change it. So that was the birth of U.S. Horse Welfare, which was really designed to be an organization that focused on advocacy and education and awareness. But in the process of that, these eyes, you know, you look at these eyes and they're about to be shipped off, and how do you say no when you have the capacity to take them? So that's what started the rescue part, and we became U.S. Horse Welfare and Rescue. Right, and that became a nonprofit, registered nonprofit back in 2016.
Right. So tell me, how many horses do you have here currently?
There's 15 horses here right now.
15,
yes.
Okay. And they're a combination of both rescue and owner, you called it owner give back or something like that?
Owner surrenders, yeah.
Yeah, horse surrenders, okay.
Which are still rescues, because here's the deal. Once a horse reaches, I've been told this by a horse trader, once a horse is over 12 years old, if it is not incredibly talented, it stands a 50-50 chance of being picked up by one of what we call kill buyers, which are the slaughter buyers, and they send them for slaughter. So, you know, the owner surrenders, it's a matter of making a decision on every horse. Like, does this horse stand a chance of going to auction and ending up in a good place, or is this horse, chances are it's going to end up in a bad place? And that's really the driving force of making the decision where you draw the line. Is this a horse we're going to take in or not, assuming we have room? Yeah, but we've also rescued a lot directly from slaughterhouse, not slaughterhouses, but the slaughter lots before they get shipped to slaughter, yes.
Right, okay. So tell me a little bit about how do you pay for their care and feeding?
Their care and feeding is all paid for through donations. Our very important events, we can talk about that in a couple minutes. Our programs, our lesson programs. I mean, horses don't really want to be standing around being bored. They really don't. They like to be engaged in something. They like people, they want to be engaged, they want to be giving back on some level, they want to work. So most of these horses, if they are capable of doing lessons, or they're capable of being a therapeutic horse that can just stand there and let you love on it and hug it because you're having a bad day, or they want to do that. So that's how we raise a lot of our money. Those are the three big ways.
Right, so those are through lessons, programs like the academy that you have,
Right.
And donations.
Donations.
But you also do have a volunteer advocacy for horses to humans. I think you're involved in a couple of organizations that bring young people up here that might have some various disabilities. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
We do. We work with the Barrico organization, which comes here a couple times a week. They bring autistic adults here who are not able to hold regular jobs, and they come here and they try to learn some job skills like cleaning out waters or sweeping or whatever it is. So we do have that. We have a lot of our programs. Our Barn Buddies program is really for kids ages 6 through 10. Now that can be for your neurotypical or as well as your neurodivergent child, right? But Bonnie is she's the Pied Piper of that. She's like the little maestro, and they all follow her around and love her.
And
like
Bonnie's
crazy.
giving a lesson right now, I noticed.
Yeah.
She just went by us.
Yeah. So she just, the kids just love her. And then we have our Teens to the Rescue program. We have our riding academy, which has been incredibly successful. What's different about us versus other barns, local barns, we do have a lot of fancy show barns near us. And that's great. And, we don't compete with that. Though that's for the kids who want they want the power to go to shows and jump and show and get better and better and better. That's great. All these barns do a great job. We are much more laid back. We're really for the kids who just really want to learn how to love a horse and ride a horse and don't really have all those aspirations to ever go show. We do a lot with kids that have a lot of anxiety, because this is a very serene, tranquil environment versus a show barn where there's 40 some odd horses, and that's very stressful for the young kid who has anxiety.
Yeah.
So we really kind of cater to that group of kids.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you did a lot during COVID as well, where people couldn't go, to movies, dinner. They couldn't go to a lot of places, but being in the open air, you provided some outdoor activities that seemed to have worked pretty well.
We did. It was great. We actually had people banging on our door saying, can I come and do something because I'm going stir crazy? And it works out perfectly, because you can see we have multiple barns. So we were able to bring, your morning crew in. This person's in this barn, this person's in this barn, this person's over there. And they could stand out here more than 6 feet apart from each other, have some social interaction, be with the horses, get the fresh air, and not feel so pent up. And so we had a plethora of volunteers back then. And we also had programs that were very successful. Yeah. And you might recall we had a movie night that was incredibly successful, because people could spread out on the big lawn, and we had over 200 people. And
that
it
was
looked
last
like 50.
year's, right?
No, that was actually a few years ago. Our first movie night was...
I was thinking about last year's movie,
Mustangs by Moonlight.
Mustangs, where it was narrated by Robert Redford.
Right.
Yeah,
yes.
That was great.
That was a big fundraiser for us, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie nights are good, too, as well. Tell me a little bit about, obviously, this place doesn't run just with you out here every day, mucking stalls and doing hay bags and things like that. Tell us about the volunteers and how important that is to the organization.
Incredibly important. Because we are a small nonprofit, because we don't have revenue streams other than the lessons and the programs and donations and the big fundraiser that we have every year. We could not keep these horses here if we did not have the help of volunteers. They are so instrumental every day, coming in, so dedicated in mucking stalls and cleaning waters and stuffing those hay bags that you're talking about, and cleaning up the paddocks and helping with the horses and all of those tasks, which they're just monumental if it's just a handful of people. But we currently have 30 some odd volunteers, and some people come in and they only have one shift a week, and it's only for a couple hours. Other times we have people that want to be here several days a week for a couple hours, but we couldn't do it without these people, Paul. They are so instrumental. And we're always looking for more volunteers because no matter what the season is, there's always someone going on vacation. There's always somebody who, pulled a muscle, not necessarily here, but pulled a muscle the wrong way. And so we're always looking for more volunteers.
Okay. If somebody wants to get involved in the organization or donate to the organization, why don't you tell us about how they would do that?
Sure. Gladly. If people are interested in getting involved, again, our website, www.ushorsewelfare.org, has a plethora of information. Right at the top, there's a tab for Get Involved, and you click on that. It'll bring you to volunteer opportunities. There's also a donate button. They can click on that and they can put the information there. Some people are not comfortable that way. They'd rather mail a check. They can mail it to us at U.S. Horse Welfare. They can actually do the initials USHWR at 345 Waterville Road in Avon 06001. And they're always welcome to call me. My phone number's on the website page. But we need our volunteers, and we need those donations because that's what keeps these horses here.
Now back to the horses for a second. Tell me a little bit about Faith. One of the favorites here.
Yeah, she is a favorite. Faith, my husband Stephen and I rescued back in 2016 before we had this place. She was in a kill lot, and we were going to get her, and of course horse trailers, most of them are 2 or more stalls. So we went down to get her. And of course there was beautiful little Bentley. And I said, well, it does hold 2 horses, So we ended up coming back with 2. We kept them at a friend's place. We had to quarantine them at a friend's place. And she kept them there until we moved here, which was like 3-4 months later. So we've had her since 2016. And she is absolutely never going anywhere. She is like family to us. She's the most loving little pony, very capable of being ridden, and she is ridden, but she's also incredibly capable of standing right here in cross ties and letting you throw your arms around her neck and kiss her all day long. She is the sweetest, kindest little girl. So we're ever so grateful for that.
She's one of the favorites when you have, what is it?
The hug a horse?
The hug a horses.
Yeah.
Those
She's
are
definitely,
great. Those are great days. And what about, like, behind you is Catino. Now that's a different story. So tell us a little bit about Catino.
So Catino, a little history on him. It's taken us a while to find this out, and I just found it out like a week ago, that Catino was actually owned by the daughter of the owner of the New York Mets. And she had several horses. She wasn't winning enough with him, so she decided to sell him. He was purchased by a federal judge who was appointed by Obama, Lorna Schofield, lovely, lovely lady. And she's a big dressage rider. Well, he is not able to maintain himself doing what she wanted to do. The pressure on the neck and all of this, he just started coming up.
Because of the breed?
Just him. He just ended up he just ended up sore. And so she saw me trying to help a woman out of Kent, Connecticut, home a couple horses before they ended up someplace bad. I had posts everywhere, and she reached out and she said, I've got this horse, and I look at what you do, and is there any chance you would think about taking him into your program? And so we talked multiple times, and I think she asked for everything but my first child. And she called every one of my references, by the way, and talked to them extensively before making a decision. And then she finally said, you know what? I'd really like him to come to you.
Good home. Good home. Okay.
So that's where he is.
Yeah. All right. Now, switching gears again a little bit. We have, or you have, a fundraiser coming up on September 7th.
Yeah.
And it's sounds like it's pretty exciting. Why don't you tell us about the Lord of the Cellos?
The Lord of the Cello.
The person. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think honestly, this is the most exciting fundraiser we've ever had here. I'm blown away by this man's talent. I had never really heard of him myself, but one of our board members knows him fairly well. And so his name is Marston Smith. He's called Lord of the Cello. He has 20-some CDs out there. He's been in movies. He's been on stage with the likes of Michael Bublé and tons of other artists. He has played for Arnold Schwarzenegger, Elizabeth Taylor at one of her weddings, and it just
one of the 7.
Yeah, right. And you can go online and you can read about this man. The accolades, and his music is phenomenal. You can actually go on YouTube and YouTube some of his songs. He's phenomenal. He plays this electric cello. And he's amazing. He writes some of his music, but he's also totally capable of playing any of the classicals. And I just feel so blessed that this man is coming here and gifting us with a night of his music.
And tickets can be purchased through your website?
Yes, yeah. So tickets are on Eventbrite, but an easy way to get to it would be to go to our website, and it's right there as soon as you open up our website, or is all the information. And there's a link to go to get the tickets. It's $80 for VIP, which is very reasonable considering it includes cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, and meet and greet with Marston, and you'll get a
Those are the
seat.
VIP tickets?
Yes, and you get
Okay.
a seat at at a table, etc. And so, yes, and then the lawn seats are $40 a piece. People are responsible for bringing their own chairs, etc. And and we will have food to purchase that night as well.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, tell me, well, I'll give you an opportunity here. I've asked a number of questions. Are there things that perhaps you want to communicate to our audience that I have not asked?
I think we've covered a lot. I think the really important thing is that people really understand the expense that goes behind helping these horses, and it's not just these horses. This is all across America, right? We have horses that need homes all across America,
Right.
and we do work on that. Like, I will get calls from California, Texas, around, like, how can you help me? Can you help me? I have helped fundraise for people that don't have money to put their horses down, to help them avoid ending up putting the horse into a bad situation where it goes for slaughter. I think it's also important that people know that the wild horses are being rounded up as we speak. These helicopter roundups are heartbreaking. They're wrong on every level, but our Bureau of Land Management has free rein to make these decisions. I think there's so much for people to learn. I look forward to, I really hope people come that evening, because I really want to be out there. I want to be talking to people. I want to get to know people and see how I can help them learn about the little things they can do. It doesn't take much, Paul, to make a difference. It's the phone call to your state reps. It's the phone call to your senators. It's a phone call to your congressman. More importantly, it's letters, because my understanding from a congressman is that one letter is equal to about 100 phone calls. They weight it that heavily. Asking them to stop the roundups and to finally end any horses of America being shipped over our borders to go to slaughter, and help us get the message out there. And we, media, social media can make a huge difference. A little aside of this, but very much along the same lines, I'm very happy to say that because of social media, because of social pressures that we have been able to put on China, they have stopped the Yulin Meat Festival, which is dog meat. They have stopped that festival over in China, which is huge. And it all happened grassroots. It starts with everybody getting on board. It starts with the masses learning about what happens out there and getting behind it and spreading the word and making those phone calls, because we can't do it alone.
Yeah, and a lot of that, there's also a ton of information on your website as well.
Yes.
And why don't you just tell us your website? I could do it, but it's nothing like coming from you.
Yeah. So the website is www.ushorsewelfare.org.
Okay.
And even if they more or less screw that up, if they just put in U.S. Horse, usually we pop up, because we have enough pieces out there.
You have a Facebook page as well.
We do. We do. And it's the
great.
same. U.S. Horse Welfare and Rescue is the name of the Facebook page. Yeah.
Well, Susan, this is a great place.
Thank
and
you.
We're lucky. It's such a nice day.
Thank you.
Yesterday wasn't such a nice day as
No.
far as rain goes and
No.
everything else. But we do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And Susan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck on September 7th.
Thank you. I appreciate
you.
that.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.